It's been a roller coaster of a year. When hard trade policy comes out, you see a real slowdown in cargo flows. Then when that policy is softened and deadlines extended, cargo picks up for that window of opportunity, and that's what we've seen. But July and August combined are our busiest 2 months in the 117-year history of the port. Wow. Folks are bringing in inventory before the next policy statement may come out, trying to protect themselves for the all-important year-end holiday season for retailers, and the parts for American factories are keeping a lower but very steady flow.
So, Gene, a lot of people are unsure how tariffs work, but the reality is, I believe they occur at your port. The actual collection of the tariff occurs on your turf, right?
That's right, Paul. And a cargo container cannot leave the port without that tariff being paid by the importer of record to U.S. Customs.
So there's a customs office at your port, and what they do is collect whatever tariffs may be on any particular good. And that's how that happens all the time, I guess.
That's exactly right. And LA is the largest customs district in the nation. Director Africa Bell runs that shop for U.S. Customs, and her rank and file members are working around the clock, just trying to keep up with what the tariffs are, how to apply them to the shipments, and keep the commerce moving.
It's got to be really confusing for them because I just feel like the needle moves constantly. How many companies, though, are really able to pull forward their inventory? Are you still seeing that in a big way as we move closer to the holiday shopping season?
Yeah, Alexis, here's the interesting fact. You've got about 125,000 companies that call Los Angeles home to import their goods over the course of a year. No one company has more than a 5% share. So we're made up mainly of small to middle-sized businesses, some of whom are telling me now they're dipping into savings to pay these tariffs.
So is our customs office, are they in fact keeping up with the collection of tariffs on all these additional goods? I mean, do they have the manpower to do it all? Do they have the facilities to do all, the technology to do it all?
They truly have risen to the occasion, Paul, and doing a great job. I look at those vital statistics of the port through the Port Optimizer every morning, a 90-second flash report. Our numbers on velocity are better than they were before COVID.
Wow. You know, I think we all saw those dramatic photos of the cargo falling off in Long Beach, not your port, but at the port of Long Beach. I think it highlights also what a dangerous job this can be for those workers. But I'm just curious, did that have any impact, knockoff effect on your port?
That's right, Alexis. You know, the first thing is, thank goodness no one got hurt. The men and women of the International Longshore and Warehouse Union are on the ground moving all this cargo, and thankfully no one was in harm's way. The investigation will continue. I was talking to some folks last night at a big industry event back in Long Beach, and they haven't been able to get their cargo out yet. So the U.S. Coast Guard, National Transportation Safety Board are going to take a deep look at this, see what the causals are and how we can make sure it doesn't get repeated again. But effectively, that particular terminal in the Port of Long Beach is an investigation site. So shipping lines are having to maneuver around that as best they can, but no real slowdowns because of it.
Amazing.
So the economic data seem to suggest that in terms of tariffs, the question is who pays for it. We know that it gets collected at your port by the U.S. Customs Office. And then it's a question from that perspective, how much gets passed along down the line to the wholesaler, to the distributor, to the retailer, and then ultimately to the consumer. What's from your view at the port? Do you have any understanding of how that's happening, how that's playing out?
Yeah, Paul, three real areas that importers have been focusing on. Can I go back to my manufacturer and negotiate a little bit on the price and see if we can mitigate? Some mixed effect there. Do I just absorb it and try to find efficiencies in my own company? We've seen the results from the big auto companies in Detroit. That hasn't gone well either. Mary Barra announcing big tariff hits on cost. Same thing with Jim Farley over at Ford. And then others are saying that they're trying to pass on to their customers if they're in the factory business, manufacturing, or to consumers. And we have seen that as well. So it's just kind of a spread across those three categories. And I think we'll start seeing even more of that hit towards the fourth quarter of this year.